Paul Chatfield strolled into a luxurious watch boutique, his casual outfit sharply contrasting the store's opulent atmosphere. The air smelled faintly of leather and polished wood, and the gleaming display cases sparkled under recessed lighting. The polished marble floors seemed almost too pristine to walk on, and the security guards stood at attention like immovable sentinels. Karen Dawson, a sales associate with a sharp eye for appearances, immediately noticed him. Her tailored black suit and pearl necklace hinted at her pride in maintaining the boutique's exclusivity, but her smile faltered the moment she assessed Paul. To her, his faded t-shirt, well-worn jeans, and scuffed sneakers screamed, window shopper. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, her heels clicking briskly against the marble floor. "Excuse me, sir," she began, positioning herself directly in his path. Her forced smile barely concealed the undercurrent of condescension in her tone. "These watches are very high-end. Perhaps you'd feel more comfortable at one of the stores down the street." Paul raised an eyebrow but remained calm. His easygoing demeanor didn't waver. "I'm here to see the new collection," he said simply, his voice steady. Karen's smile tightened, morphing into a thin line. She crossed her arms, her posture growing more defensive. "These pieces," she said, her tone now laced with skepticism, "start at $30,000. Are you sure you're in the right place?" Paul paused for a moment, letting her words hang in the air. He glanced around the store briefly before meeting her gaze. "Yes," he replied evenly. "I'm in the right place." Unmoved by his response, Karen allowed her skepticism to evolve into outright dismissal. As Paul walked toward one of the display cases, she followed, clearly intent on steering him away from wasting her time. Paul's attention landed on a sleek, silver timepiece with a minimalist face and an elegant leather strap. "That one," he said, pointing to it. "Could you take it out for me?" Karen let out a soft, almost incredulous laugh, shaking her head slightly as if amused by his audacity. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice now dripping with disdain, "but we can't allow people to try on merchandise they clearly can't afford." Her words were sharp, designed to cut, but Paul didn't flinch. His jaw tightened for a moment, but he quickly relaxed, maintaining an air of calm control. "Are you refusing to show me the watch?" he asked, his tone quiet but firm. Karen leaned in slightly, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper as if she were doing him a favor. "Look," she said, her condescension now fully unveiled, "I don't want to waste your time, or mine. Why don't you try one of those online stores? They might have something in your price range." Paul's eyes narrowed slightly, but he remained composed. "I see," he said, his tone neutral, giving nothing away. He straightened his posture and pulled out his phone, tapping the screen deliberately. Karen watched him, her smug expression unwavering, confident she had put him in his place. But what she didn't know was that Paul wasn't just another customer. He had a card to play, and Karen's judgmental attitude had just set the stage for an unexpected twist. Paul's fingers danced across his phone screen with deliberate calm as he placed a call. Karen, arms crossed and wearing a smug grin, stood a few steps away, her confidence unwavering. She clearly believed her condescension had sent him packing, or at least out of her store. Moments later, the door to the back office opened, and the store manager, a man in his mid-50s with a polished demeanor and a sharp suit, hurried out. His face immediately brightened as he spotted Paul. "Mr. Chatfield." "What a pleasant surprise," the manager exclaimed, extending his hand warmly. "I didn't know you were stopping by today." Karen's smirk evaporated in an instant, replaced by wide-eyed confusion. Her arms dropped to her sides as she glanced between the manager and Paul, her brain scrambling to piece together what she had just heard. "Wait. Mr. Chatfield," she stammered, her voice faltering for the first time. Paul returned the manager's handshake before turning his attention to Karen. His expression was calm but resolute, his words cutting through the tension like a knife. "Yes, Mr. Chatfield. I own this store." Karen's face drained of color, then turned an embarrassing shade of red as the realization sank in. The weight of her mistake hung heavy in the air, and the other employees, who had been stealing glances at the exchange, suddenly found the floor and walls incredibly fascinating. The manager's smile faded as he took in the scene. "Is there a problem here, Mr. Chatfield?" he asked carefully, his tone professional but tinged with concern. "Not anymore," Paul said, his gaze still fixed on Karen. "But I'd like to speak with you privately. Let's go to my office." The office above the store was as elegant as the boutique itself, with sleek furniture, abstract art on the walls, and floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning view of the city. Paul gestured for the manager to sit as he replayed the incident in his mind. "Pull up the security footage from the past 15 minutes, Paul instructed, his tone cool but firm. The manager quickly complied, his fingers tapping on the keyboard to access the camera feeds. Together, they watched the interaction unfold, the dismissive tone, the condescending remarks, and finally, Karen's outright refusal to assist a customer she had misjudged. When the video ended, Paul leaned back in his chair and let out a slow breath. "This isn't just about me," he said. "It's about what this behavior says to our customers. How many others have been treated like this? How many walked out, humiliated, without anyone noticing?" The manager nodded solemnly, understanding the gravity of Paul's words. "I'll handle it immediately, Mr. Chatfield," he assured him. Returning to the sales floor, the manager approached Karen, who stood awkwardly near the display case, her earlier confidence now replaced with visible anxiety. "Karen," he said, his voice calm but authoritative, "please step into the office." The other employees exchanged glances, but no one dared speak. Karen followed the manager, her head held low. 15 minutes later, she emerged, her face a mask of humiliation. She avoided eye contact with everyone as she gathered her belongings. Without a word, she walked out of the store, her heels clicking against the marble floor for the last time. As the door closed behind her, the tension in the boutique seemed to lift. The staff resumed their work, silently grateful they weren't the ones who had misjudged their boss. Unbeknownst to Paul, a customer in the store during Karen's outburst had captured part of the interaction on their phone. The video, titled "Rude Sales Associate Denies Man Service, He's Actually the Owner," went viral overnight. Within hours, thousands of people had watched it, and the comments section filled with praise for Paul's calm demeanor and the way he handled the situation. "The humility this man showed is incredible," one comment read. "A true example of how leaders should act." Another said, "Karen learned the hard way, treat everyone with respect." The surge of attention brought curious customers into the boutique. They wanted to meet the man behind the story and support a brand that upheld such strong values. Paul noticed a mix of clientele, some dressed in suits and others in casual attire, and made it a point to greet as many as he could, reinforcing the message he had shared with his staff. Paul's commitment to excellence didn't end there. He implemented a comprehensive training program for all employees, focused on customer service, unconscious bias, and the importance of treating every individual with dignity. The program included role-playing exercises, open discussions, and team-building activities designed to foster empathy and understanding. Meanwhile, Karen's story became a cautionary tale. Though she had left the store in shame, she eventually reflected on her actions. The incident had sparked a profound change in her perspective. Realizing the damage her arrogance had caused, she decided to attend workshops on personal growth and inclusivity, vowing to never make the same mistake again. As for Paul, he continued his habit of visiting his stores unannounced, still dressed in his casual attire. His experience with Karen had reaffirmed his belief that respect and kindness were non-negotiable values in business, and in life. For the boutique, the incident became part of its identity, a reminder to its employees and customers alike that, much like the watches it sold, true value was found not on the surface but in the details.